is ready for a political revolution. This is a fantastic turnout, and I thank all of you very, very much for being here this morning. Let me thank John Michelson, Grupo La Meta, well-dressed mannequins, Janelle Eisen, Michael Sarasso, City Councilman Michael Tubbs, and let me thank Erica Andiola. Coming here to Stockton this morning, I don't have to tell you that this country faces many, many serious crises. And what this campaign is about is thinking outside of the box, thinking outside of the status quo, and saying that in America we can transform this nation if we stand together. What this campaign is saying that from coast to coast, people are sick and tired of millions of Americans living in poverty. They are tired of having a nation in which we have more people in jail than any other country on earth. They want us to invest in our young people, in jobs and education, not jails and incarceration. This campaign is listening to the people of America, not just big money campaign contributors. What the people of this country are telling us is they are tired of a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections. They want America to have the strongest democracy in the world with the highest voter turnout, not one of the lowest. They understand that democracy is one person, one vote, not billionaires buying elections. What the political revolution is about is creating a government which represents all of us, not just the 1%. What does that mean? What it means is that if you work 40 hours a week in this country, you should not live in poverty. It means that we are going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour. It means that women in America will not make 79 cents on the and I know, because everybody here believes in justice, that we are going to fight together, every man, to make sure that we pay equity for living in America. And I know, nationally they tell us unemployment is 5%. That's official unemployment. Real unemployment is double that. And in communities like Stockton, Detroit, all over the country, the numbers are much higher. I was in Flint, Michigan a few months ago, and children there have been poisoned by lead in the water. Infrastructure. That means our water systems, not only in Flint, but all over this country are failing the American people. Our wastewater plants, our roads, our bridges, our rail system, our levees and our dams need repair. We are going to create 13 million decent-paying jobs rebuilding our infrastructure. We are going to put the American people back to work at good wages. I want our young people not to be hanging out unemployed on street corners. I want them to learn the skills they need to build affordable housing, to make sure that our schools are well structured. We need a new trade policy which says to corporate America, invest in this country, not in China. This campaign is listening to young people. And what young people are saying is, we will not allow the American dream to die. My father came to this country with no money, never made any money. We grew up in a lower-income household. But he worked hard and my mom worked hard and millions of parents worked hard so their kids could do better than they did. That's all the American dream. And if we do not change the economy and create millions of decent paying jobs, for the first time in the modern history of this country, the younger generation will have a lower standard of living than their parents. We will not allow that to happen. You know, 50 years ago, you had a high school degree. You could go out and get a pretty good job and make it into the middle class. The world has changed. The economy has changed, technology has changed, and education has changed. And in my view, it is no longer good enough to be talking about public education, meaning first grade through 12th grade. Not good enough anymore. Our vision has got to be that public education means making public colleges and universities tuition free. Here is what thinking big is about. It is saying that every child in Stockton, in the 4th grade, in the 6th grade, who studies hard, who does well in school, every kid in Burlington, Vermont, my hometown, where kids are living with parents who never went to college, where kids today never think for 1 second that they have the possibility of going to college because they're poor or working class. I want to change that. Every child, regardless of the income of his or her family, if that kid takes school seriously and does well, that child should have the right to get a college education. And that is how we transform America, when we have the best educated workforce in the world, not when we have more people in jail than any other country. How many of you are dealing with student debt? All right, thinking outside the box requires you to ask a simple question. Everybody here knows, everybody in America knows that education is the essence of what life is about. We got to keep learning until the day we die. And everybody here knows that if we are going to compete effectively in the global economy, we need a well-educated workforce. Why are we punishing people for getting the education they need? We should be rewarding people, not punishing people for getting an education. So for those of you who are being crushed by student debt, and I've talked to people all over this country, woman in my own city, her dream to go to medical school, she did, $300,000 in debt. Woman in Iowa, her dream becoming a dentist, $400,000 in debt. Young people dropping out of college, $50,000, $60,000 in debt. That is crazy. That is not what this country should be about. So here is my promise to the people who are student debt. We're going to let you refinance those loans at the lowest interest rates you can find. You should not be paying 6, 8, 10% interest rates if you can get loans at 2, 3, 4% interest rates. When we talk about the economy today and when we think outside of the box, we have to deal with issues that are not going to be seen in corporate television or in corporate media. We have got to determine as a people what the most important moral issues, economic issues, and political issues are. Nobody's going to do it for us. Big money interests are not going to do it. We have got to do it. And here is at the top of my list both a moral, economic, and political issue. Are we satisfied when in this great country we have more income and wealth inequality than any other major country on earth? Does anybody think that it is morally acceptable that the top 1/10% now owns almost as much wealth as the bottom 90%? Does anybody think it is morally or economically sustainable when the 20 wealthiest people in this country, 20 people own more wealth than the bottom half of America, 150 million Americans? When you have this grotesque level of income and wealth inequality, when you have a situation where over the last 25 years, trillions of dollars have left the hands of working families and have gone into the top 1/10%. Don't tell me we don't have the resources to rebuild Stockton, California. This is the wealthiest country in the history of the world, but nobody knows it. Nobody knows it because cities like Stockton are suffering because people are working 2 or 3 jobs. The problem is not our wealth. The problem is who has that wealth. We are going to create together an economy that works for all of us, not just the top 1%. That's what this is. I want to give you an example. of what a corrupt campaign finance system is about and what a rigged economy is about. People of Stockton know Wall Street very, very well. You know what Wall Street's greed, recklessness, and illegal behavior has done to this community. Now, some of you may not know major Wall Street folks. Reach even bigger financial. They did it because, as you all know, they were selling subprime mortgage loans. And yet, Goldman Sachs that paid a fine, their executives, not one of them, you know, some kid here in California, possession of marijuana, that kid gets a police record that stays with him his entire life. And by the way, that's why I think you got a pretty good ballot initiative coming up in November. If you are an executive on Wall Street whose greed and illegal behavior has impacted the lives of millions of Americans who lost their jobs here in Stockton, their homes, their life savings, you know what happens to you? You get an increase in your compensation. Well, you know what we're going to do? How about bringing justice back to a broken criminal justice system? That they have got to obey the law like everybody else. And how about telling Wall Street that when 6 financial institutions have assets equivalent to 58% of the GDP of this country, when they issue 2/3 of the credit cards and 1/3 of the mortgages, that maybe they are just too big and we're going to break them up? Which works for small and medium-sized businesses, which makes affordable loans, which helps those businesses create the jobs we desperately need. We don't need a Wall Street, which is an island unto itself, which is based on fraud and is only concerned about their own profits. We do need to break them up. And when we talk about a broken criminal justice system, this is what I mean by that. What I mean is that all over this country, in inner cities and in rural America, you've got youth unemployment rates of 30, 40%. And when kids hang out on street corners with nothing constructive to do, trouble happens. And that is why we are going to invest in our young people in jobs. I want these kids working. And when we talk about reforming a broken criminal justice system, we've got to take a hard look at local police departments all over this country. I'm a former mayor of Burlington, Vermont, I have worked with police officers of my city, my state, and people all over this country, and the average police officer is honest, hardworking, and has a very difficult job. But, like any other public official, when a police officer breaks the law, that officer must be held accountable. We have got to demilitarize local police departments. We have got to make police departments reflect the diversity of the communities they serve. We have got to end corporate ownership of jails and detention centers. We have got to create a culture in law enforcement which says that lethal force, killing someone, is the last response, not the first response. We have got to rethink the so-called war on drugs. Right now, under federal law, we have the Federal Controlled Substance Act, which has marijuana as a Schedule I drug right next to heroin. If elected president, we will take marijuana out of the federal control. And if a vote comes up in Vermont to legalize marijuana, as it might, I will vote yes on that vote. But we also have to recognize when we talk about drugs that we have a major crisis all over this country in terms of opiate addiction and heroin addiction. Every single day, people are dying of overdoses. And we got to deal with this issue. And the best way to deal with it, for a start, is to recognize that drug abuse and addiction is a health-related issue, not a criminal issue. And that means we need a revolution in how we do mental health treatment in America. If somebody is addicted, they need help today, not 6 months from now. If somebody is suicidal or homicidal, we need to get them the treatment they need right now. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the Latino community. And the Latino community reminds us that there are 11 million undocumented workers in this 11 million undocumented people in this country today. And here is the truth. Many of those workers who are undocumented are being exploited. And they are being exploited because when you have no legal rights, your employer can do anything he wants to you. He can cheat you. He can deny you the wages that you earn, and you have no recourse. You cannot stand up and fight back because you are undocumented. I have talked to people in the Latino community who are living in the shadows, who are living in fear. We need comprehensive immigration reform and a path towards citizenship. And if Congress does not do its job, In passing immigration reform, I will use the executive powers of the presidency. We need an immigration policy which speaks to bringing families together, to uniting families, not dividing families. This campaign is listening to our brothers and sisters in the African American community. They're asking me, how does it happen, Bernie, that we have trillions of dollars we can spend on a war in Iraq that we never should have gotten into? But we have inner cities all over this country where unemployment sky high, incarceration rates sky high, schools, healthcare totally inadequate. We need to change our national priorities. No more wars that we should not be fighting. No more tax breaks for billionaires. Let's rebuild. Let's rebuild the inner cities of America, improve lives there, and create millions of jobs as we do that. This campaign is listening to a people whose pain is almost never heard, and that is our brothers and sisters in the Native American community. Here who has studied 5 minutes of American history, that from the very beginning, before this country was a country, when the first settlers came here, the Native American people were lied to, were cheated, and the treaties they negotiated were broken. We owe the Native American people a debt that we can never fully repay. They have taught us and have become part of our culture in making us understand, for example, that as human beings, we are part of nature. We have got to coexist with nature. And that if we destroy nature, we are destroying the human species. And yet, in reservations and Native American communities throughout this country, our Native American brothers and sisters are hurting, unemployment, poverty, youth suicide, off the charts. If elected president, we will change our relationship to the Native American. Think outside of the box and ask yourselves a very simple question. Why is it that the United States of America is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a right? The United Kingdom does it, France does it, Germany does it, Holland does it, Scandinavia does it. I live 50 miles away from the Canadian border. Everybody in Canada has health care as a right. Now, I'm a member of the committee that helped pass the Affordable Care Act. It has done some very important things, but not enough. Today, 29 million people have no health insurance. Today, millions of people, including many of you here, are underinsured with high deductibles and high co-payments, all right? Today, every person here in America is being ripped off by the greed of the pharmaceutical industry. an industry that charges us by far the highest prices in the world for the medicine that we need. Now, by the way, California, you're going to have a proposition on your ballot in November which is going to lower the cost of prescription drugs. It's a great idea. Last year, while the American people were unable to afford the medicine they need, the pharmaceutical industry, the three top drug companies, made $45 billion in profit. And I have no doubt that they're going to be spending some of that money in California telling you not to support that proposition. Don't listen to them. In my view, and let me repeat to you what I have believed for my entire life, health care is a right of all people. It's not a privilege, and I want you to understand, think outside of the box, what a Medicare for All single-payer program will mean to the people of Stockton. What it means is you go to the doctor whenever you need to go, and you don't worry what kind of deductible or copay you have. It means that the medicine, prescription drugs that you need are there at a cost that you can afford. And here's what it also means. It means today that millions of Americans are working at jobs where they don't want to be, but they are there because they have decent health insurance for their families. When we have a Medicare for All single-payer system, you can do whatever you want. You can get started a business. We can unleash the entrepreneurial spirit of the American people. They can start businesses and not worry whether their families have health insurance or not. Nobody has a magical answer to human happiness, but I will tell you that if everybody in this country knows that they have health care when they need it and not worry about it, that will take an enormous burden off the backs of tens of millions of Americans. Now, Secretary Clinton says that my idea is too big. We don't have the power to take on the private insurance companies or the drug companies. I respectfully disagree. I believe that when the American people stand up and tell the drug companies and tell the insurance companies that if they cannot make billions of dollars in profit off of the sickness of the American people, we're going to win this fight. Now, I know that there are many people in California and America who are worried that Donald Trump may become president of the United States. Clinton against Donald Trump. So I say to the Democrats who will be convening in Philadelphia for the convention in July, if you want the strongest candidate to defeat Donald Trump, that's us. But it is not just polls. Polls go up and down. There's something more important. And we're seeing it right here today, right now, in Stockton, California. And that is, progressives and Democrats win elections when people are energized, when they're prepared to stand up, fight back, and vote, and we have large voter turnouts. There is no question about which campaign is energizing the American people. It's us. In California and all over this country, millions of working people and young people understand that it is just too late for establishment politics or establishment economics. That we are ready not just to elect a new president, but together to transform our nation. So I say to the Democrats at the Democratic Convention, all of the delegates, if you want to defeat Donald Trump, if you want to see a major voter turnout, a large voter turnout, where millions of people are standing up and fighting back, our campaign is that campaign. I'm a member of the U.S. Senate Committee on the Environment. And I've talked to scientists all over our country and all over the world. And what they have told me very clearly is that climate change is real.
5, 6.
It is caused by human activity. And I don't have to.
Hey, it's kind of patchy, the IFB.
It is already causing devastating problems in our country and around the world.
Sorry, I'm having trouble hearing you. I'm going to try calling in on my other phone.
We have a moral responsibility to leave this planet in a way that is healthy and habitable for our children and future generations. And whether the fossil fuel industry likes it or not, we are going to on carbon. One other issue, it is looming, it will get more and more severe, and that is whether or not in our country and around the world we will have clean drinking water. And another difference between Secretary Clinton and myself is that I believe now is the time to end fracking. That is not Secretary Clinton's view, and in fact, when she was Secretary of State, she pushed that technology onto countries around the world. Now, everybody here knows a profound lesson of American history, the most important lesson that we can learn, and that is that real change never takes place from the top on down. It always takes place from the bottom on up. That is the history of America, when millions of people stand up and fight back and demand change, the people will not be defeated. Think about 100 years ago. Workers working 7 days a week, 14 hours a day. Children working in factories, working in the fields, and workers said, sorry, we are not beasts of burden. We are entitled to dignity and respect. We're going to form trade unions. Think about 150 years ago, when the African American community and their allies said that in America, the day will come when we will end racism and bigotry. And millions of people stood up, some died, some went to jail, some were beaten. But they said, we are going to change America away from racism. Brothers and sisters, think about less than 100 years ago. Women in America did not have the right to vote, did not have the right to get the educational jobs they wanted. But women stood up. And women in America told the establishment, don't define us. Don't tell us that our only function in life is to stay home and have babies. We want more. And millions of women stood up, and with their male allies, they changed the system. If we were here 10 years ago, no time at all, from an historical perspective, and somebody jumps up and says, you know, Bernie, I think that gay marriage will be made legal in every state in this country by the year 2015, the person next door would have said, you are nuts, ain't gonna happen. But what happened is the gay community and their straight allies stood up and fought back. They stood up and they fought back and they said that in America, people should have the right to love whoever they want, regardless of their race. If we were here 5 years ago and somebody said, Bernie, this federal minimum wage of $7.25 an hour, totally inadequate, we got to make it $15 an hour, the person next to them would have said, $15 an hour, you want to double the minimum wage? You are crazy. Can't happen. You're thinking too big. But you know what happened? People in the fast food industry, in McDonald's, Burger King, Wendy's, went out on strike. They stood up and they fought back and they said, we cannot live on $15 an hour. And then what happened? Seattle, LA, San Francisco, $15 an hour. California, New York, $15 an hour. That is how change takes place. So what the establishment and what the media wants you to believe, that real change is impossible. No. We cannot do what every other major country on earth does and guarantee health care to all people. We can't do that.
Yes, we can.
Oh, no. We cannot have paid family and medical leave for our people. We can't do that. It's too hard. No. In this great country, we cannot rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, create millions of jobs. No, it's too hard. The powers that be are too powerful. We cannot take on the billionaire class and end the grotesque level of income and wealth inequality that exists. We can't do it. You're dreaming. You're dreaming if you think we can make public colleges and universities tuition free. Can't happen. Too radical an idea. Oh, no. the fossil fuel industry too powerful. We can't transform our energy system and lead the world in combating climate change. Too powerful. Oh, no, Chamber of Commerce, too powerful. We can't provide equal wages for equal work for our women. No. And what the establishment tells you is, think small. But we have a different view. And all over this country, people are looking at the world very differently. And they are saying, yeah, you know what? In America, we actually can have an economy that works for all of us, not the 1%. Actually, in America, we can have a vibrant democracy, one person, one vote, not a nation in which billionaires are buying elections. Yeah, we can do that. Yeah, we can create a nation and a government that works for all of us, not just the people on top. And that, brothers and sisters, is what this campaign is all about. Now this campaign is taking on the financial establishment. We're taking on corporate America. We're taking on the Democratic political establishment. We're taking on the corporate media because the corporate media is not particularly interested in the issues facing working men. Yet, we're taking on the most powerful political organization in America, the Clinton organization that elected the president twice. Despite all of that, we have now won 18 state primaries. We believe that we have a very good chance, can't predict the future, but we think we have a very good chance to win a majority of the states yet to vote, including right now, we are at about 45.5% of the pledged delegates, the delegates actually elected by the people in the states. We think that if we do well in the remaining states, and if we do very, very well in the largest state in this country, California, we have a chance, it's an uphill struggle, we have a chance to end up with a majority of the pledged delegates. And if we do that, I think you are looking at the Democratic nominee for president. On June 7th, there is going to be a primary here, which will be the most important primary in this whole nominating process. More delegates will be at stake by far than in any other state. We have found throughout this campaign that we do well when the voter turnout is high. Let us make certain that on June 7th, California has the biggest voter turnout in the history of the state for a Democratic primary. certain that this great state, one of the leading progressive states in America, makes it clear to the world that they want a political revolution. Thank you all very much.